Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be covering complete unit 2, that is HTML and XML in web technologies. I will explain each and every topic in this video. I will cover entire unit 2, that is HTML and XML. Friends, I have uploaded complete web technology tutorials. I will provide link in description. You can watch from there. And if you are watching this video for the first time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. At first, I will discuss what is HTML and basic program of HTML, what are HTML tags and what is HTML list and what are HTML tables and HTML forms. At first, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. What is markup language? Markup language is nothing but program that is written by using tags is known as markup language. For example, this is tag. Anything that is written in between angle brackets is known as tag. The program that is written by using these tags. Markup language is nothing but program that is written by using tags. Anything that is written in between angle bracket is known as tags. In HTML, for every open tag, there should be a close tag. And close tag is denoted by slash symbol. This is open tag and this is close tag. In close tag, we need to include slash symbol. But what is use of this HTML? This HTML is used to design web pages. If you want to design web pages, we need to use HTML. This HTML is programming language that is used to design various kinds of web pages. I am going to write one small program of HTML. As I said before, we need to write HTML program by using tags. At first, there is HTML tag. Similarly, we need to close this HTML tag. Every human being contains head and body. Similarly, this HTML also contains head and body. In head, we need to write title, and whereas in body, we are going to write actual program. First head. Similarly, I am going to close head. Inside head, we need to write title. So, I am going to open title tag. I am going to give title as my first HTML program, and we need to close this title. For every open tag, there should be a close tag. If you do not include close tag, then output is going to display as error message. So for every open tag, there should be a close tag. Inside head, we need to write title. For title, I open title and I closed this title tag. Similarly, I opened head tag and I closed this head tag. In head, we need to write title, and whereas in body, we are going to write actual program. So I'm going to open body tag and I'm going to close this body tag. Inside body, I'm going to write main program. I'm going to give heading here where H1 stands for heading. Heading is my HTML. This is heading. We need to close this. And I'm going to write paragraph. For writing paragraph, we need to use tag P. P stands for paragraph. My HTML page. We need to close this paragraph tag. This is basic program of HTML. So output is going to display like this. Heading is my HTML. And paragraph is my HTML page. This is output. In order to create this web page, we need to write this code. This is basic program of HTML. Next topic is HTML tags. As I said before, we need to write HTML program by using tags. There are some of the tags, basic tags in HTML, such as HTML tag. This HTML tag is root element. It says that we need to write HTML program. And next one is head tag. And next one is body tag. This body tag holds actual content of the HTML, and whereas this title tag is used to display title and H1 is used to write heading, this H1 tag is used to write heading, and whereas this P tag, that is paragraph tag, it is used to write paragraphs. There are 6 heading tags. First one is H1, H2 and so on H6. Till H6 we have these heading tags, whereas this H1 represent big size and whereas this H6 represents small size. This is example of heading tag. First one is H1. CSC, H2 CSC. We are going to close this by using slash symbol. Similarly, H3 CSC. Output is like this. Size is decreasing here, whereas H1 is highest size and whereas this H6 is smaller size. As I said before, for every open tag there is a close tag, but there are some of the tags that contains only open tag. There is no closure tag. There is only open tag. They are BR and HR, where BR stands for break tag. For example, here I took H1 is CSC. And I am break here. That means we are going to break line here and it is going to start from next line. So output is, I used break tag here. So it is display like this, CSC, and next statement is generated in next line, btech. If I do not use this break tag, then output is CSC btech. So in order to break the line and start from next line, we need to use this break tag. Next one is HR. HR stands for horizontal rule. In order to put line across the web page, we use this HR tag. And there are some other tags which are frequently used in HTML. They are P tag, that is paragraph tag, which I have explained already. And next one is H2. H2 stands for heading, whereas this H stands for heading. And next one is B. B stands for bold tag. In order to write bold letters, we use this B tag. And in order to write italic letters, we use I tag. And next one is U tag, that is underline tag. If you want to underline any text, U tag. These are the basic tags in HTML. Next topic is HTML list. We all know what is meaning of list. Whenever you go to supermarket, you are going to write list of items in paper, and in order to purchase items, you are going to write list of items in paper. In order to display items in list manner, we are going to use this HTML list. HTML lists are classified into three types. First one is ordered list, and next one is unordered list, and third one is description list. This ordered list are also known as numbered list, and whereas this unordered list is also known as bulleted list, and we can also call this description list as definition list. First, I start with ordered list. This program of ordered list. In order to display elements in order wise, we are going to use this ordered list. As we all know, every HTML program contains head and body, and whereas in head we are going to write title. You can write title as HTML ordered list, and inside body we are going to write actual program. Here I opened OL tag. OL stands for ordered list. Similarly, I am close this ordered list tag, that is OL, and inside this ordered list I am write list of elements. LI stands for list. First one is Samsung, and second list I written is MI, and third list I written is Vivo, and fourth one is iPhone. So output is 1 Samsung, 2 MI, 3 Vivo, and 4 iPhone. This is how output is look like. And there are different kinds of numbered list. They are numeric numbers, capital Roman letters, and third one is small Roman numbers, fourth one is capital alphabet, and fifth one is small alphabet. See this example, you can clearly understand how it is look like. Inside body I am write this actual program. OL stands for ordered list, and type is small Roman. I given type as small Roman, and I write list. First one is Samsung, second one is MI, third one is Vivo. These are the list that I have written. So output is display like this, 1, because here I took type as small Roman. So 1 Samsung, 2 MI, 3 Vivo. For example, if I took capital A here, then output is going to display like capital A, capital B, capital C, like this. This is example of ordered list. This is another example of ordered list. Here I took ordered list type as 1, and start 5. That means this output is going to generate from 5. I took list as Samsung and next list is Vivo and third one is MI. So here I am going to start with 5. So it is going to start with 5. First one 5, next one 6, 7 like that. This is example of ordered list. Next one is unordered list. Whereas ordered list is denoted by OL and unordered list is denoted by UL tag. UL stands for unordered list. Inside unordered list, I am going to write list of items, that is Samsung, Sony and LG. In ordered list, output is going to generate like 1, 2, 3. But in unordered list, there is no sequence of numbers. It is going to represent like bullet points. There is no numbering in this unordered list. Output is generated like by bullet points. This is example of unordered list. And next one is description list. This program of description list. Whereas ordered list is denoted by OL and unordered list is denoted by UL and description list is denoted by DL. We need to use DL tag in order to write description list. And inside description list there are two tags. First one is DT tag, where DT stands for description term, DT stands for description term. This is description term. DT stands for, and DD stands for description data. Description term is nothing but it is going to heading, and in this we are going to write data. I took DT as C language and inside DD I written developed in the year 1972. This is heading and this is data. Similarly, next description term is PHP developed by Apache group. These are the two descriptions that I have written. And similarly, for every open tag, there should be a closed tag. Here I open DT and here I close DT. Similarly, I open DD and I close this DD. And similarly, I am going to close this description list tag. Output is like C language. This is heading. There is small dash here and developed in the year 1972. This is how output is going to look like, where DL stands for description list, DT stands for data term and DD stands for data definition, or we can also call it as data description. Next topic is HTML tables. I am going to write program for HTML tables. In order to display data in the form of tables, we need to use table tag. I'm going to write HTML here and insert this head. Title as HTML tables. Close this title, close this head. Open body tag. As I said before, in order to create HTML tables, we need to use table tag. Table, insert table, there is table row. TR stands for table row. Insert table row and write table heading. I am going to write table heading as students and I am close this table heading, and similarly I write another heading that is marks. And I close this table heading, and similarly I close table row. So by writing this, output is look like this. There are two headings. First one is students and next one is marks. And similarly I am going to write data inside this table. Again open this table row. We need to close this by slash. I open table and I inside table I am going to write data. I open this table row and I am going to write table data. TD stands for table data. Data as student name as Sai. Close this table data. Similarly another data marks, that is 25 marks. Close this table data. Close this table row. Sai and marks is 25. Close this table. I open table and inside table I created table row, and inside table row I written table heading, and similarly again I open table row, and inside the table row I have written table data. This is how output is look like. For example, if I want to add another user information, again I need to open table root, table data, and next username is Raju. Need to close this by using td tag. Similarly open td tag and marks is 35. I need to close by using table data tag. So output is Raju and marks 35. I hope you got this HTML table. For every program you need to write head and body. Inside head you need to include title. Here topic is HTML table, so here I took title as HTML tables, and inside body we need to write actual program. Next topic is HTML forms. We all know what is meaning of form. For example, if you want to send any application in internet, you need to fill form like username, user details, where he stay, all these details you need to fill, and you need to click on submit. You can create this form by using HTML. I'm going to create one small HTML form. HTML and body, view heading as Instagram, and form action equal to file dot php. In action include file. That file name is file.php, and method is post. If you want to create table, you need to use table tag. If you want to create forms, we need to use form tag. Close this form tag. I open form and I close it this form. Inside form we need to write actual data. Take first name. In this input type is text and name is name. Heading is Instagram and it is first name. By writing this tag, we create one text field here because I given input type is text. So there is text field that is created here. Similarly, I am going to give password, and for password input type is text and name is password, and we need to include break tag here because it break this line and going to start from next line. By using this start from next line, by writing this tag, there is one text field created named as password. And next we need to create one button called submit. For that we need to write input type. Here for text field we are going to write text here, but in order to create button we are going to write here submit, and value is submit. By writing this tag, there is submit button created. This is how page is going to look like. This is how we can create forms in HTML. I created form. That form contains first name and password. This is how we can create form in HTML. In order to create form, we need to use form tag. For every open tag, there should be a close tag. This is small program in order to create forms in HTML. Next, I will explain three topics: HTML frames. Next one is HTML images, and third one is HTML CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheet. First, I start with HTML frames. What is frame? HTML frames. For example, this is our window, this is our screen. I want to divide this screen into multiple parts, and then I want to write separate code for this part, and separate code for this part, and separate code for these two parts. This is known as frame. Dividing our windows into multiple parts, and then we are going to write program for each part. This is known as HTML frame. HTML frames are used to divide your browser window into multiple sections, where each section can load a separate HTML document. That means we need to divide our screen into multiple sections, and for each section we need to write separate code. This is known as frame. HTML frames. I'm going to write one small program. This is small program, that is HTML. Inside HTML we need to write frame set rows. That means we need to divide rows into multiple parts. One is 30% and one is 70%. For HTML tables, we are going to use table tags, and for HTML forms, we are going to use form tags. Similarly, for HTML frames, we need to use this frame set tag. I opened this frame set and I declared here rows because we need to divide rows here. So I return rows here, that is 30% and 70%. We need to divide this screen into row wise. One is 30% and another one is 70%. Similarly, this another program, that is we need to divide this frame into three parts. One is 30% and next one is 10%. Star indicates remaining percent. So first one is 30% and next one is 10% and remaining 60% in this section. In this section, here I written one program. I took frame set columns because we need to divide this frame into column wise. One is 33%, one is 33% and another one is 34%. We need to divide this window screen into three sections. One is 33, next one 33 and third one is 44%. And frame source is a.html, and similarly another frame source is b.html and another frame source is c.html. These are three sources. For this a.html, we need to write separate program, and for this b.html, we need to write separate, and for c.html, we are going to write separate program. I'm going to write separate program here for a.html, for b.html and for c.html. I opened HTML tag and similarly I closed this HTML tag. Inside HTML tag, we need to write body here, and similarly I'm going to close this body tag. Here we need to write a heading as CSC. Similarly, we need to close this h1 tag, and for this b.html file, we need to write heading as btech, close this, and for the c.html file, we need to write heading as college, and similarly I'm close this h1 tag. So our window screen is divided into three parts: a.html 33%, b.html 33% and c.html 34%. Here a.html output is CSC, and for b.html output is btech, and for c.html college. This is how output is look like. I am going to explain what is HTML image. What are HTML images? There is one advantage of HTML, that is we can insert images in HTML. For this HTML images, we need to use image tag. I opened image tag and I took source as pic.jpg, that is pic name, and align. I'm going to align this pic right side of the window. So I took here align as right. I opened this image tag. Similarly, we need to close this image tag. This is how output look like. This is window screen and this image name is pic.jpg and right side. This is how output look like. This is another program. I took heading as HTML image and image source as image.jpg. This is name of image, and alternative name I given this image name as flowers, and width is 460 and height is 345. This is size of image, close this image tag. This is second program of HTML images. And third topic is HTML CSS. CSS stands for cascading style sheet. In order to give styling to our HTML page, we are use this HTML CSS. In order to give styling like changing color of text and assigning various styles to our text, in order to perform all this, we need to use HTML CSS. This HTML CSS is used to provide styling to our HTML document. We can add this CSS to our HTML document in three ways. First one is inline, and next one is internal CSS, and third one is external CSS. At first we are going to start with inline CSS. This is small program of inline CSS. I opened HTML tag, and inside HTML tag I opened body tag, and inside body tag I took heading. In order to use HTML CSS, we need to style tag. For HTML images, image tag. For HTML tables, table tag. Similarly, for HTML CSS, we need to use style tag. Here style, heading. For heading I am use style as blue color. So I took color is blue. And next similarly paragraph, style is red color red. And I closed this heading and similarly I close this paragraph heading. So output is going to display like this. CSS is going to display like blue color, and similarly third here as red color. This is how output is going to look like. This is inline CSS. Next one is internal CSS. In internal CSS, we are write CSS inside head portion of the HTML. Here I took HTML document and I opened head tag. Inside head tag, we need to write CSS. As I said before, in order to write CSS, we need to style tag, and body background color as blue. This background is going to look in blue color by writing this, and heading as green color. Here heading is green color and paragraph is red color. And inside body, and I closed this head tag, and similarly I opened body tag, and here I written heading as btech and paragraph as CSC. Heading is green color, so this btech is in green color and paragraph is in red color. So this btech is in green color, CSC is displayed in red color. And here I took background color as blue, so this background is in blue color. This is example of internal CSS. Third one is external CSS. In external CSS, we need to write separate HTML program and separate CSS program. Both are separate. HTML is one file and CSS is another file. Here I took HTML, and inside head we need to write link tag, because we need to link this HTML document with CSS. So we need to link tag, and REL stands for relation. Relation is style sheet, and href stands for reference, that is style.css. By writing this, we are linking this HTML document with CSS, and for this style.css we need to separate program. This style.css is separate file. In this, we are going to write separate program for this CSS. I closed a head tag. Inside it, I written link. I opened link tag, and I am going to write relation as style sheet and href, that is reference as style.css. And similarly, I opened body tag, and inside body I written heading as btech and paragraph as CSC. And for the style.css, we need to separate program. I written separate program here. For body, I am going to give background color as green, and for heading color is blue, and for paragraph color is red. So output is background color is green color, and btech is in blue color, and CSC is in red color. This is output is going to look like. These are HTML CSS, that is HTML inline CSS, internal CSS and external CSS. Next I will explain XML. Before starting introduction to XML, you need to know difference between HTML and XML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. HTML is used to display data, whereas XML is used to store and transport data. This HTML is non-case sensitive. Non-case sensitive means it treats capital A and small a equally. That means both capital A and small a are same in HTML. But in XML is case sensitive. That means it treats capital A and small a differently. This is meaning of case sensitive. HTML is static in nature, and whereas XML is dynamic in nature. HTML mainly focus on appearance and presentation, but whereas XML focus on exchange of information. As we all know, for every open tag there should be a closed tag. In HTML it is not necessary to use closing tags, but whereas in XML we should definitely use closing tags, otherwise it display error. I will write program of HTML and as well as XML so that you can clearly differentiate difference between HTML and XML. At first I will write program of HTML. As we all know, every HTML program contains head and body. Inside head we need to write title. I am giving title as first program, and for every open tag there should be a closed tag. And inside body we need to write actual program, and for every open tag there should be a closed tag. Inside body I am writing heading as CSC, and I closed this heading. And at last we need to close HTML. This is program of HTML. This is a simple program of HTML. Output is CSC. This is output. because I took heading as CSC, so output is CSC. Next I am writing program of XML. This HTML head, body, H1, all these are predefined tags. There are predefined tags in HTML. This H1, body, all these are considered as predefined tags. But in XML we can create our own tags. Anything that is written in between angle brackets is known as tag. This HTML is written in between angle brackets, so it is known as tag. Similarly, in HTML we can create our own tag. I am creating tag as college. Inside college there is a class, and for every open tag there should be a closed tag. Inside college there is class. Similarly, we need to close the class, and inside class there is student. Student name is Raju, and we need to close this student. As we all know, for every open tag there should be a closed tag. Inside college there is class, inside class there is student, and that student name is Raju. Output is college, class, student, his name is Raju. This is output. Difference between HTML and XML is there are predefined tags in HTML, but in XML we can create our own tags. And in this, if you see, there should be it is not necessary to use closing tags. Even if you don't use H1 tag here, closing tag here, output is generated. But in XML, if you do not use this closing tag, output is error. Output is displayed as error message. So it is mandatory to use closing tags in XML. But in HTML, it is not mandatory to use closing tags. And HTML is non-case sensitive. That means capital A and small a both are same. See, in this I given body as small b here, and for closing tag I given capital B. Even if we write like this, output is generated. But whereas in XML both capital A and small a both are different. For example, here I took small c and here I took capital C, then output is not going to get generated. Output is displayed as error. So HTML is non-case sensitive and XML is case sensitive. We'll start with introduction to XML. The full form of XML is Extensible Markup Language, where E is silent here. The main use of XML is to store and transport data. In order to store and transport data, we use this XML. And for example, if you consider HTML, there are predefined tags in HTML. For example, if you see this, in this example, HTML head, body, H1, all these are predefined tags. But in XML, we can create our own tags. That means we can give any name to our tag. If you see in this example, college, class, students, all these are own tags which we have created. So we can create our own tags in XML. XML was designed to be both human and machine readable. This XML was easily understandable by both human and as well as machine. XML plays an important role in many different IT systems. It is often used for distributing data over internet. In this XML, main purpose of using this XML is to distribute data. As I said before, it is used to store and transport data. We can easily transport data over internet in XML. And this XML was used by many of the IT companies because this language is easily understandable by human beings. So many of the software companies prefer this XML. Many of the software engineers use this XML because it is easily understandable by human beings and as well as for machine. XML is self-descriptive. Self-descriptive means it contains sender information, receiver information, heading, and as well as message body. So this XML is self-descriptive. And XML became a W3C recommendations in the year February 1998. XML was recommended by W3C. W3C stands for World Wide Web Consortium. It was recommended by World Wide Web Consortium in the year 1998 February. This is introduction to XML. Next I will explain small program of XML. At first we need to write XML version. So that at first we need to write open bracket question mark. XML version is 1.0. This is present version of XML which we are using. And encoding is UTF-8. Encoding is used for protecting. In order to protect this content, we use encoding, and this encoding type is UTF-8. And after that you need to use question mark, close angle bracket. After that I am writing tag named college. Inside college there is class. That class name is CSC, and inside that class there is student. His name is Shiva and his rule number is 912. And in XML, for every open tag there should be a closed tag. If you see here, I written college. Similarly I closed this college. I opened class, student, rule number, and similarly I closed class, rule number and student. After writing this, output look like college and class 1, that class name is CSC, and student, his name is Shiva, and roll number is 912. This is output for this program. This is simple example of program of XML. This is simple example program of XML. This topic is XML tags. As I said before, we can create our own tags in XML. XML is more flexible than HTML because we can create our own tags in XML. If you consider this example, starting tag is known as root element. Whatever starting tag that we are writing, it is known as root element, and we can give any name to our root element. And definitely we need to include open angle bracket and closed angle bracket for this root element. And for every open tag, there should be a closed tag. For example, if you see this, I written name, and similarly I closed this name, and we need to close by using slash symbol. For every open tag, there should be a closed tag, and this closed tag is included with slash symbol. As I said before, XML is case sensitive. That means it treat capital A and small a differently. For example, if you see this example, at first I written open tag as name with capital N and closed tag with small n. So it will not generate output because it display error. If you use small letter for open tag, then even for closed tag you need to use small letter. If you use capital N for open tag and for closed tag, you need to use capital N. If you do not write any content in between tags, we call it as empty. I hope you guys have understood what are the properties of XML tag. Once again, I will revise. In XML, starting tag is known as root tag, and for every open tag, there should be a closed tag. We should definitely include angle brackets for tags. As XML is case sensitive, we need to write same letters for both open tag and closed tag. For example, if you use here capital N, similarly for closed tag also you need to use capital N. For example, for open tag if you use small n, similarly for closed tag you need to use small n. Tags without content is known as empty. All these are the properties of XML tags. Next topic is attributes and values in XML. I will write one small program. In this program I took person gender is male, and that person name is Sai. This is program. First I written person, after that I written gender is male, and his name is Sai. This is small program. Instead of writing like this, you can also write like this. Person, his gender is male, and that person name is Sai. These both are same programs. Instead of writing program in this many lines, you can also write like this. Person, gender is male, where this gender is considered as attribute and this male is considered as value. This gender is considered as attribute and male is considered as value. And definitely we need to include double quotations for value. We can also include single quotations. In order to make our program look smaller, we use these attributes and values. I will give one more example. College, class, name, Sai. Similarly, we need to close this. I open name tag and I close this name tag. Similarly, I open class tag and we need to close this class and we need to close college. Instead of writing like this, you can also write college class equal to name, double quotations, and Sai and college. Both are same programs, but difference is this program occupied multiple lines, whereas this program occupied single line. This class is attribute and this name is value, but using these attributes and values are not recommended because there is high chances for getting errors and writing this is very complicated. So always programmers used to write like this instead of writing attributes and values. And there is one more disadvantage, that is we cannot write multiple values in single attribute. So an attribute contains only single value. For example, if I want to add one more, it is very easy. If I want to add one more tag, it is very easy. But adding one more tag in these attributes and values are very complicated. So these attributes and values are not recommended. Hope you have understood what are attributes and values in XML. Next topic is XML schemas. We also call this XML schemas as XML schema definition, that is XHD. The definition of XML schema is used to describe structure of XML document. In order to describe structure of XML document, we use this XML schema. We write these XML schemas in XML and it supports various kinds of data types and namespaces. When compared to XML DTD, this XML schema provides more control over XML structure. I did not explain this XML DTD. I will explain this in this session. We can perform 4 things by using XML schema. First one is we can describe document content, and second one is we can add restrictions to our data, and third one is we can validate correctness of data. That means we can check errors present in the data. And fourth one is we can convert data between different data types. We can easily convert one data type into another by using XML schema. And one of the greatest strength of XML schema is there is no need of learning new language, because this XML schema is written in XML. So there is no need of learning new language. This is basic syntax of XML schema. XS schema XML NS XS equal to, inside this double quotations we need to paste our URL, where this XS stands for XML schema, this is prefix, and XML NS stands for XML namespace, and this XS stands for XML schema. This is syntax of XML schema. XML schema is classified into 2 types. First one is simple type and next one is complex type. In simple type we can represent data only in the form of text. Simple type allows to have only text based elements. That means we can include only text based elements in simple type. This simple type contains only less attributes. It contains only less attributes, less child elements, and it should not be left empty. We should not leave this simple type empty. Complex type allows you to hold multiple attributes. In simple type contains only less attributes, but whereas in complex type it contains multiple attributes and elements, and it can also contain additional sub elements. We can also add some sub elements, additional sub elements in this complex type, and it can be left empty. We can also leave this complex type empty. This is basic difference between simple type and complex type. This XML schema is classified into 2 types. First one is simple type and next one is complex type. Now I will write program of XML schema. Open bracket question mark. XML version is 1.0. This is current version of XML, and question mark close angle bracket. As we already discussed XML schema syntax, XS schema, where XS stands for XML schema, it is prefix, and XML NS XS, where this NS stands for namespace, equal to double quotations. We need to paste our URL here and close this with angle bracket. Open this schema, and similarly I need to close this schema /XS schema. I open schema and similarly I closed this schema. After that, I need to open XS element name. I am giving element name as contact, and this contact is complex type. I give an element name. This element name is contact, and this contact is complex type, and it should be in sequence. XS sequence. Similarly, we need to close this element. After closing element, we need to close complex type. After closing complex type, we need to close sequence. XS sequence. We need to include slash here. For closing tag, we need to include slash. Inside this, we need to write content. This is the content which I have written inside this. Inside sequence, I written element name as name. As we all know, name is string character, so I given type as XS string. Similarly, I took another element name as company. Company also string, so I given type as string. Next, third element name is phone. Phone is integer, so I given type as XS integer. This is the content which I have written inside sequence. After writing this entire program, you need to write description of these 4 tags. This is description of these 4 tags. XS element name equal to contact. The meaning of this tag is we are giving element name as contact. And next one is XS complex type. Meaning of this tag is whatever the element name, that is contact, this is of complex type. This is meaning of this. And third tag is XS sequence. We are representing this complex type in sequence. And fourth one is XS element name equal to name, type equal to XS string. The meaning of this tag is I give an element name as name, and this name is of string data type. Next topic is XML DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. If you want to represent your XML document in the form of tree structure, we need to use XML DOM. This is a small program which I have written. Inside books, I open two tags. First one is book tag and next one is publication tag. Inside book tag, I written author as Rahul, price as 256 and published date as 5/10/21. And inside publication tag, I written publisher name as Nagendra and state name as Telangana. By using this XML DOM, we can represent this entire program in the form of tree structure. This is how we can represent that program. First two nodes are common. First one is document, and this document type is XML, and first one is, at first I open books tag. So here we need to write books. Books contains another two tags. First one is book and next one is publication. So here I given books and publication. Inside books tag I written author and author name as Rahul and price 256, so price as 256 and published date as 5/10/21. Similarly, inside publication I written publisher name as Nagendra and state as Telangana. So it look like this. Publisher name as Nagendra and state as Telangana. This is entire tree structure of this XML document. This DOM, the main use of this XML DOM, that is document object model, is to represent our XML document in the form of tree structure. I will give one more example of this XML DOM. I took root element as college. Similarly, we need to close this. Inside college, there is class 1. Similarly, we need to close this class 1. And we need to take class 2. And similarly, we need to close this class 2. Inside class 1, there is student 1. His name is Sai. And similarly, inside class 2, there is student 2. His name is Raju. I want to represent this entire XML document in the form of tree structure by using XML DOM. So output look like document type is XML, and here we need to write root element is college. Inside college there is class 1 and class 2. Class 1, class 2. Inside class 1 there is student 1, his name is Sai, student 1 and his name is Sai. And similarly inside class 2 there is student, his name is Raju, student 2 and his name is Raju. This is program and tree structure. We can represent this entire XML document into tree structure by using XML DOM. Next topic is XHTML. XHTML stands for Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. This XHTML was developed by W3C, that is World Wide Web Consortium. And by using this XHTML, we can translate HTML document into XML document. XHTML version 1.0 is the first version of this XHTML, and it was recommended by W3C in the year 26 January 2000. And similarly, XHTML version 1.1 is recommended by W3C in the year 31st May 2001. At present, we are using HTML5. This is latest version of XHTML. Same as HTML, XHTML also contains three parts. First one is document type, second one is head, and third one is body. Document type represent what version of XHTML we are using. For example, version 1.15, etc. And similarly, head represent title. We need to write title inside head and we need to write actual content inside body. These are the three parts in XHTML. I will explain difference between HTML and XHTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and it is used to create web pages, whereas XHTML stands for Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. It is family of XML. This XHTML is family of XML, not HTML, and it is extension to HTML. This HTML is not supported by all browsers, but XHTML is supported by all browsers. For example, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox. It was supported by all browsers. And HTML was proposed by Tim Berners-Lee in the year 1987, whereas XHTML was proposed by W3C, that is World Wide Web Consortium, in the year 2000. HTML is application of standard generalized markup language, shortly it is known as SGML, whereas XHTML is application of XML. HTML is extended from SGML, whereas XHTML is extended from XML and HTML. XHTML is combination of both XML and HTML. In order to work HTML in all devices, we need to perform some changes. But whereas XHTML is supported by all devices, there is no need to change, there is no need to make changes because XHTML was supported by all devices. These are the difference between HTML and XHTML. If you consider this HTML program, inside HTML I written head and inside it I written title as example of bad HTML because I am writing bad HTML program. Bad HTML mean program which do not contains closure tags is known as bad HTML. If you consider this, inside body I written h1, but I did not close this h1. Similarly, I opened paragraph, but I did not close this paragraph. Even if I do not include closure tags here, this program will work in HTML, but this program will not work in XHTML because XHTML follow rules very strictly, whereas HTML do not follow rules strictly. If you return same program in HTML, output will be displayed. Even if you don't use closure tags, output is generated. But if you write this same program in XHTML, output is not going to get generated because there is no closure tags here. So output is displayed as error message. So when compared to HTML, XHTML is very strict. Topic is XML DTD. DTD stands for document type definition. XML DTD is a document that is used to represent structure of XML document. The main use of this XML DTD is to represent structure of XML document, and it also used to represent elements and attributes of XML document. These are the two uses of XML DTD. We can also call this XML DTD, that is document type definition, as document type declaration. We can also call this DTD as document type declaration, and it is also used to perform validation, that is performance validation. In order to check performance, in order to validate the performance, we use this XML DTD. Syntax of XML DTD. XML DTD contains document type element, DTD identifier, and inside that we need to write declaration. We can write n number of declarations. This is syntax of XML DTD. And next, types. DTD is classified into two types. First one is internal DTD and second one is external DTD. In internal DTD, we represent elements inside HTML file, whereas in external DTD, we represent elements outside XML file. This is difference between internal DTD and external DTD. These are the syntax. Internal DTD contains document type and root element. After that, we need to write element declaration. Similarly, external DTD contains document type, root element, system file name. These are the syntaxes of internal DTD and external DTD. Now I will explain examples of internal DTD and external DTD so that you can clearly differentiate difference between them. As we all know, XML file contains XML version, that is 1.0, and encoding type is UTF-8. In internal DTD, at first we need to write document type, and I took root element as address, and similarly we need to close this. I open this and similarly I close this, and inside that I written element address as, which is root element. This root element we need to write here element address. Address contains name, company and phone number, and again we need to write separate elements for this. Next, element name as PC data. Here we need to write, here we need to enter name here. Similarly, element company hash PC data, and similarly element phone hash PC data. This entire is known as DTD. And similarly, next we need to write XML file. Address. Here first root element is address. So at first I took address. Address contain name. I given name as Sai, we need to enter this inside this, and company as Dell and phone number as 9 to so on. This is details which I have entered in hash PC data. This is known as internal DTD. In single file we have written GTD and XML. This is internal DTD. Next I will explain external DTD. External DTD is same as internal DTD, but difference is that we need to write this XML in one file and DTD in another file. Only difference is in single file we have written internal DTD, but whereas in external DTD we need to write DTD in one file and XML in another file. This is example. I took XML version as 1.0 and document type address, where address is root element, and system add.dtd. This is another file. For this file again I have to write another program. I took address, inside address I give a name as Sai, company as Dell and phone number as 9 to so on, and I need to write program for this add.dtd. Here I written program which is same as in internal DTD. Element address, name, company and phone number. Again element name hash PC data, element company hash PC data and element phone number hash PC data. This is program of external DTD. Next topic is DOM and SAX parsers. This DOM and SAX parsers are XML parsers. XML parser is nothing but it is a software library. We also call it as software packages. The main use of this XML parser is it provides interface. In order to work with XML document, we need interface. This XML parser provides interface for client application to work with XML document. If client want to work with XML document, he need one interface. This interface is provided by XML parser. This is structure of XML parser. If client want to work with XML document, he need XML parser. This XML parser contains API, that is application programming interface. XML parsers are classified into two types, as I said before. First one is DOM, that is document object model, and second one is SAX. SAX stands for simple API for XML. We will discuss difference between SAX parser and DOM parser. SAX stands for simple API for XML, whereas DOM stands for document object model. This one is event based parser, whereas DOM is tree structure. SAX parser is slower and this DOM parser is faster. SAX parser is suitable for only small size files, whereas DOM parser is suitable for large size files. SAX parser is suitable for making XML files, but DOM parser is not suitable for making XML files. By using SAX parser, we cannot create internal structure, but in DOM we can create internal structure. This SAX parser is read only, that means we cannot perform any operation, we can only read. But whereas in DOM parser we can insert and delete nodes. We can insert new nodes and we can also delete nodes in document object model. In SAX parser, backward navigation is not possible, but whereas in DOM parser, both front and backward navigation is possible. This SAX parser is suitable only for efficient memory, but whereas this DOM parser is suitable for large XML documents. In SAX parser, we can only load small part of XML file. We cannot load entire file in SAX parser, but whereas in DOM, we can load whole XML document. This is difference between SAX parser and DOM parser. Since I have uploaded complete web technology tutorials, I will provide link in description. You can watch from there. Thank you.